Most trucks will be carrying 300-400 cones. A 4K closure at 55 cones a kilometre, and with taper cones, you're looking at having to drop out 300 cones a night that weigh between sort of 9 and 12 kilos depending on the time of the year, because they're porous. In the rain they will increase in weight. So somebody who used to lift these things and drop these things out for a living, so they're not actually designed very well for a human being. They're great for road users because the length and breadth of this country you'll see cones. But the actual methodology of moving one around in a depot, putting one out on the road, maintaining it on the road, putting it back into a safe storage area, it's not perfect from a human perspective.
So one of the problems we face with the cones coming in and out of the depot is the manual handling aspect. Cones get delivered on a pallet from our suppliers, and then we need to move those cones from the supplier's vehicle out into the depot for storage, and then moving them onto our TM vehicles to be able to perform the traffic management activities. So there's lots of heavy lifting involved. Each cone weighs 20 kilograms, so when you multiply that by the hundreds of cones that we order each time, there's obviously a lot of lifting involved in that activity.
One of the problems we face with traffic management, not just in Area 9 but across the country, is the repetitiveness of the manual handling for the operatives. In Area 9 we have 20 plus traffic management vehicles on the network at any one time. Movement of the traffic management cones can be hazardous or risky for the operatives due to the sheer volume they have to move. For a closure which is 4 kilometres long, they can be moving 500 cones multiple times just for one traffic management installation.
So each of our operatives receive manual handling training where they're shown how to lift each object correctly, but like most things, some people decide to do things their own way, and with doing it their own way can sometimes lead to problems with lower back injuries, etc.
So one of the issues we face around traffic management and manual handling of cones is slips, trips and falls. So not only do the operatives have to concentrate on loading the vehicle appropriately, but they also have to be mindful of any slips, trips or falls they might face on the bed of the vehicle. There are other TM equipment which is also located there, so they have to be mindful and aware of what they might be walking over.
Now in the depot it becomes much more of a problem because you've got to move these cones, you've got to store these cones, you've got all these activities being prepared, and there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of vehicle movement, there's a lot of cone movement.
So an additional hazard around the depot, particularly when the guys are starting shift and beginning to load the vehicles, is the people plant interface with up to 6 to 8 traffic management vehicles in a depot. And we also have load-alls which load the cones onto the vehicles as well.
You're never going to 100% remove the operative from the activity if you look at the whole journey of a cone. But where we can automate, we should automate, because in a pressurised environment, sometimes the perfect techniques aren't always deployed. So we need to do something to help our workforce. In terms of training, maybe we need to be training the manufacturers and not the employees. It seems that we're an industry that's so far behind what our colleagues in the logistics world have managed to achieve. If you look at an Amazon, they move millions of parcels each day. And these parcels be similar to a cone where they're not ergonomically perfect for a human being. Now they don't manually source each parcel individually and then manually deliver it. They've automated that process as much as possible. Now Highways England, in connecting the country, are looking to automate as many processes that have a high risk to workforce. But if we can automate as much of that as possible, we can save time. We can reduce wear and tear on our operatives. We can increase the life of a cone. Now if you look at from a health and safety point of view, not only are we reducing that initial safety risk of that plant-people interface, of that slip, trip and fall on the back of a vehicle, We're also starting to look at our employees' long-term health. Wheels disease, everybody would know it, or leptospirosis, as quite a serious virus that can be potentially fatal. And it's attracted through the urine of cattle and rats. And unfortunately, when you have large amounts of equipment in the kind of yards that we have, you will attract rats. And one of my biggest concerns is we provide barrier creams, we provide gloves, we provide awareness training of leptospirosis. But we're never going to eliminate that risk if we still put our equipment in areas near waterways where we know where there's going to be an infestation of rats. And the fact that we're constantly setting traps and constantly trapping these animals means we know that they're there. If you look into the world of logistics, most of their sorting is done inside. They recognise that external or outside storage is probably not the best way forward. Let's look at every stage of the process and look at what we can do for every single stage. So for me, safe storage is vital.
So within Highways in Kia, we've had a number of lifting and handling injuries, some of which will be related to moving cones on traffic management vehicles. It only accounts for a small percentage of our overall stats, but it's still something that we take very seriously and that we'd like to eliminate if possible.
So managing people-plant interface is one of Kia's highest priorities. We have a responsibility to ensure that if an activity cannot be performed safely, then it shouldn't be performed at all.
If we can do things that automate the process and make it as easy as possible for our workforce to go home safely, whether that's from a safety incident involving a slip, trip or fall, or a long-term health issue because of the manual handling that they're exposed to, surely it's the only thing we should be doing.